Welcome to English Vibes.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to break down complex, important topics into, well, insight you can actually use. Today, we're tackling something huge, getting truly fluent in spoken English, and just as importantly, finding the confidence to actually speak.
Yeah, it's a space filled with, pricey courses, complex grammar rules. But the material we looked at today is interesting because it really focuses on behavior. It treats fluency less like something you memorize and more like a skill, like playing piano maybe, something you build with habits.
Exactly. And the core idea is refreshingly simple. Maybe you don't need those expensive classes. Maybe you just need the right routine. So our mission here is to unpack these five simple, actionable steps from the source material, steps that promise to help you sound, well, more like a natural speaker. They seem effective because they aim to change how you think, not just what words you know. Okay,
Yeah,
let's unpack this.
right. And we start with what the source calls the mental reset. It's often the biggest block.
Step one, stop translating in your head from your native language. I can almost hear listeners thinking, wait, how else do I speak? It feels automatic, right?
It does, but that habit is exactly what slows conversations down massively. Think about it. When you translate, your brain is juggling two intense tasks. First, form the thought in language A, then search for the words in language B, translate, assemble the sentence, then speak. It's a huge cognitive load.
Running two programs at once.
Yeah, that makes sense. Explains why trying to have a complex chat can feel so draining. But okay, here's the tricky part. If you just stop translating cold turkey, don't you hit vocabulary walls, leading to, just stopping talking? Frustration.
You definitely can, yes. Which is why the source really emphasizes starting small. It's not about being perfect instantly. It's about gradually building a direct link between thought and English speech, skipping that translation middleman. And the advice they give is pretty clever because it lowers the stakes.
Yeah.
Just describe your immediate surroundings in English, silently or out loud. Oh, like a little running commentary in your head. So if you're walking down the street, you just think, the sky is blue, or I'm going to the store, that's a red car. Simple stuff.
Exactly that. Simple observations, simple actions. You're training your brain to connect what you see or do directly with the English phrase. See blue sky links straight to the sky is blue. No detour through your native language. It's a micro habit. But doing it consistently starts rewiring things for faster processing. Fluency comes from that instant response, not perfect grammatical analysis every time.
Okay, so we've tackled that mental block, or started to. Then the sources pivot to execution, saying consistency is everything. That brings us neatly to step two. Practice every single day, even if it's just for, say, 10 minutes.
This is so crucial because it challenges that common idea that you need these huge, long study sessions. Fluency is maintained by repetition, like muscle memory. And the research actually backs this. Uplearning sticks better with distributed practice. Short bursts daily beat one long cram session a week, hands down.
So it's not just practice daily. It's that these small, consistent actions are actually better for learning than heroic, infrequent efforts. If I skip practice for 5 days and try a 4-hour marathon session, I'm actually working against how my brain learns best.
Precisely.
Yeah.
10 minutes a day keeps those language pathways active, keeps the momentum going. A day without speaking English means those connections start to weaken. Just a tiny bit. And the sources are very practical here. They give easy ways to hit that 10-minute mark, so I don't have time, isn't really an excuse.
Right. 3 really accessible methods. First, talk to yourself. That self-narration thing we just mentioned. Great for reinforcing step one.
Second, and this one provides immediate feedback, record your voice. We often don't hear our own mistakes as we speak, do we? Listening back gives you that objective view on your pronunciation, your rhythm, your hesitations. You become your own first coach.
That's a good one. And the third, probably the most fun, is just chatting with a friend in English. Adds that dynamic, real-world element. The point is, none of these need a teacher or fancy software. Just the commitment. 600 seconds, no matter what. Find those 10 minutes.
That accessibility is key to making it a consistent habit.
Okay, moving on. Step 3 gets into a really smart vocabulary strategy. It's about learning more than just single words. It's about learning chunks of language. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, this is fascinating. It looks at how fluent speakers actually talk. We don't usually build every sentence from scratch, word by word, applying grammar rules consciously. Instead, we pull up these pre-made phrases, these chunks. That's a big part of what makes speech sound natural and quick.
Can you break down why retrieving a chunk is faster than building the sentence? What's the mechanism?
Okay, think about learning a single word, like depend. Your brain stores that one item. To use it, You need to retrieve depend. Remember, it needs on, conjugate it right, structure the sentence, lots of steps. But if you learn the whole chunk, like it depends on the time or that depends entirely on you, your brain stores that entire string as one single unit to be retrieved.
Ah, so it's like hitting a keyboard shortcut instead of typing out every single letter. The whole phrase just pops out.
Exactly. Instant speed boost, plus it sounds more natural because you're using phrases native speakers actually use. The source material strongly suggests when you learn a new word, immediately look for common phrases it's used in. Don't just learn challenge. Learn that was quite a challenge or I'm up for the challenge.
That makes total sense. It's a shortcut to sounding conversational. Takes the pressure off having to invent grammatically perfect sentences constantly on the spot.
And it helps with idioms, connectors, all those bits that make speech flow smoothly. Things like learning if I were you or to be honest. These are like the glue holding conversations together.
Okay, which leads us nicely into step 4. This one feels crucial for getting the actual sound right. Shadow native speakers. The sources call this the secret weapon for sounding natural.
Shadowing really is a potential game changer because it shifts focus from the purely mental work to the physical act of speaking, training the mouth, essentially. It's basically an imitation exercise focused on nailing the intonation, the rhythm, the pronunciation, especially sounds that might not exist in your first language.
Right, a lot of people listen passively, watch movies, listen to music. But shadowing is active? You have to actually mimic out loud?
Deeply active, yeah.
Yeah.
The process they suggest is pretty straightforward. First, find a short audio or video clip, maybe 30 seconds, a movie scene, a news bite, something you find interesting, that helps.
Okay, keep it short and engaging. Then.
Listen closely, maybe a few times. Really absorb the sounds. Then the key part, repeat what you hear exactly. Try to speak just like half a second behind the original speaker, like you're their echo.
And the source's stress, it's not just saying the words back. You have to copy everything. The rhythm, the stress patterns, the pitch changes, even the pauses. That focus on rhythm and pauses, I think that's huge for sounding less robotic.
Absolutely. Pauses carry meaning, project confidence, and yeah, you might feel a bit silly talking along with a video in your room, but this is probably the most direct way to build muscle memory for English sounds. It forces you to focus on delivery, not just grammar. Training your mouth like an athlete trains a specific move.
That detail is great. But let's talk about the elephant in the room for many learners, especially when doing things like step 2, talking to yourself, or step 4, shadowing. It's the fear of messing up. Step 5 tackles this head on. Don't fear mistakes.
This is fundamental. We need to reframe what a mistake actually is in learning. If you boil down the message from the sources, a mistake isn't a failure. It's just data. It's feedback showing you exactly where you need to adjust your aim.
Easier said than done, though, right? That pressure to sound perfect, especially talking to native speakers or in work settings, it can be intense.
Oh, it is. But the sources make a critical point. Silence guarantees zero progress. Fear of making a mistake leads to not speaking. Not speaking means no feedback. No feedback means no improvement. You have to speak to get the data you need. And remember, every single native speaker, everyone made tons of mistakes learning their first language. It's part of the process.
So it's not just about feeling better psychologically. It's understanding that making mistakes is the process. Action creates data. Data fuels improvement. You have to be okay with being imperfect now to get better later.
Precisely. And the connection here is vital. The more you speak, mistakes and all, the more confident you actually become. Confidence doesn't come first. Then you speak fluently. Confidence grows from the act of speaking consistently. Taking action reduces the fear, which makes more action possible. It's an upward spiral.
So what does this all mean? We've gone through 5 really practical steps. They seem to cut through a lot of the complexity and excuses around learning to speak English fluently. The core message feels really empowering. Fluency isn't some kind of magic or innate talent. It's a habit you build.
It absolutely is a habit. So just to quickly recap those 5 key habits. 1, think directly in English. Build that direct pathway. 2, practice daily. Even just 10 minutes, consistency wins. 3, learn phrases, not just words. Use those language chunks for speed and naturalness. 4, shadow native speakers, train your mouth for rhythm and sound. And 5, be fearless, embrace mistakes as essential learning data.
And the sources end on a really potent note. The power of starting today. They basically say, pick just one of these, commit now, and in a few months, you'll be amazed at your progress.
That forward projection is powerful motivation, isn't it? I think the final thought to leave everyone with is this. Stop preparing to speak and just start speaking. Remember that your future fluent self will thank you for the effort you begin right now, today. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is now.